everyone. Welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, I'm very excited. We have a very special guest today, one of my favorite guests. And I'm not just saying that because she's here, but I'm going to let you introduce her, Dottie.
Oh, absolutely, Orly. Well, we would like to welcome Jelena, our colleague from Bologna. And Jelena, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Yes. It's, as Orly said, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And, you are such a wealth of information when it comes to marketing. And just recently, you and I had a chat on another subject, and we were talking about our obligations, our legal obligations to certain things. And that's when I found out that you also were into law. And I'm like, okay, so we need to have Jelena back on the show. So welcome back to Seeds of Success, Jelena.
Thank you. The right person, the right time, right?
Exactly right. It's all about who you know, right? Well, Jelena, we wanted to talk today about centers are maintaining their websites, they're maintaining their experience that's going on in the bowling center. And there's a few things that I wanted us to talk about that a lot of times I think people don't realize the severity and really just don't have the knowledge of the ins and outs on photographs and music and licensing and copyrights and all of that kind of stuff, right? So I wanted to start out there. And can you kind of share just a little bit when you are wanting to purchase or when you're wanting to utilize an image for a piece of marketing material or on your website, and you are scouring to find that? Let's talk about what things you need to be mindful of.
Yeah, so you said it right. You started saying when you want to purchase and then you corrected when you want to use a picture. That's the difference. Yes. So know your rights. So you saw that picture on Google and you really like it. But behind that picture, there's a model probably and the creator of that picture, right? As in music industry, as in movie industry, pictures and written content are protected by copyright. So because of this need, many stock services are born. And first it was like Shutterstock. We're not advertising anything yet, but we know, like everybody knows Shutterstock, right? Or iStock. So first those services were born. And then as it was like kind of for professionals, then more easier to use stock services started, more user-faced, right? So Canva is based on stock photography. They pay them royalties still in block. So you're using like for your final fair use, like you're tweaking the pictures, putting your logo and downloading it as a company, not as a private user. And then you bought it. Like this is you buying that picture. So taking any picture from Facebook, Google, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you see it is illegal. You're using others' creations. And, you say, I'm a small bowling center.
Yes.
Whatever. Nobody knows that. Well, not fortunately or unfortunately, there are picture crawlers based especially on AI that make it really easy to identify where pictures are used. Professionals dump these pictures inside the system. They crawl the entire web and they find your post even on social, because as you know, starting this August, all social media are going to be optimized for Google search also. So even if you use something on Instagram and say it's social media only, crawlers are going to find it.
So let me have to pay attention. What would the next step be? Okay, so I had an image and the crawler found it. So how do I know they found it?
Well, they're going to contact you. You're getting that legal email saying, well, we found a picture on your website and it says you uploaded it since January, and we saw that you paid the rights for it even for until January. From January to June, you're paying these rights. So there are people who live for that. They crawl pictures. The agencies that have rights to the usage of those models, for example, they crawl pictures on web and they ask for money. It's easy money for them, but unfortunately, it's a pain to the business proprietors' pockets, right? So the best solution to that might be using the stock services. There are really plenty of them. They provide professional business accounts with the pay-per-month plans, really easy to manage. And also, you have so many local creators that can't wait to try them with local businesses, their abilities. So you can find a local photographer who can go to your...
We've talked before about the advantages of using your own center. There's nothing better than for someone to see your actual center being represented on your website or social media. So, but the same thing is applicable for music. And a lot of times, we hear, oh yeah, I've got my favorite playlist and it's on my phone and I just took it up and I play it. Nope, can't do that, right?
Yes, they're getting you. So you're playing your favorite music on everybody hears it, and one girl is making a video for their TikTok, right? Yeah, look at what such a great center. Look at the strikes, my friends here and there. Happy birthday to the friend. And then that music plays in the background.
Yeah.
Here you go. If you haven't paid rights to play that music in your center, they got you. And it's not like in the past, you could say, well, it's them putting the music. Can you prove it? They can right now.
Yes.
There is technology to prove that was music played in the center, so they see it. So we have so we are really happy when customers ask us for great pictures of our products and in centers before they open and after they open. We're really happy to provide pictures. But how much more beautiful promotional materials are when centers use their own photography with their own lanes, with their stuff in it, showing their services. Like that's one step ahead of another marketing.
Yes. And, when it comes to music, our BPAA does have the ability to get your licensing to be able to play those kinds of things in your center with the proper licensing. So if you are in a center and you're wanting to play music or you're playing music, but it's like, I didn't realize, make sure that you go in, you get your, BMI, ASCAP, CSAC licensing based on your number of lanes and do it the right way. Do it the right way.
And oftentimes, doing it the right way, it's a small amount of money. It just takes time to do some bureaucracy. Like here in Italy, we're used to bureaucracy, right? But it really takes this amount of time, but it's not going to hit back to you with a huge amount of money to pay as a fine at the end, right?
Right.
So I have a question. Sorry, I'm being so quiet because it's all so interesting. I'm just sitting back listening. But so I'm going to go back to social media or back to, so for instance, I still call it Twitter or even Facebook. If you share something, you're sharing a picture that's not yours. Is it okay because you're still kind of, if I shared something from, let's say my favorite baseball team won the World Series and I share their post, technically on that post, it still shows that they posted it. So does that make it okay?
That makes it okay because it's fair use. You're sharing, right? Something you're not pretending you created that picture. You have created that post. As the news, for example, for any news magazine, you can take their page, share it on your social. It's like the source, a reference. Credits to that person who created this. I'm sharing it because I want to share it to the world. If you take the pictures from that post, cut out their names they have created it, and repost it as your original post, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, because you see, like, I feel like you see that a lot,
Yes.
just a while back, for instance, like Hulk Hogan died. And you see everybody, they screenshot it, and you see that same kind of, rest in peace from this year to this year. And you see this, like, everybody sharing that same photo. Are they coming after those people that were sharing something? They're sharing something that's kind of, it's news. You're not trying to make money off it.
I'm not sure they're coming after you if you're using a postmortem picture of someone saying goodbye to that person. You're not commercializing, you're commemorizing, right? If you're using that person saying our funeral services, we promote our services, right? Then that's bad. And no, you cannot do it. So you're not promoting it commercially, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Pictures we're talking about for bowling centers, they promote their services. Like they use it for commercial language, basically. And how fun is the center, how amazing our nights are, like this fun on the lanes. That's commercial use, and that you have to pay attention to what you're using.
Yeah, I think a big one for bowling centers would be people, I think, needing to be careful when they do, because we tell people a lot of times, or we help them with do theme nights. But you have to be careful. You could do probably an 80s night, but you probably don't want to say, hey, we're doing a Back to the Future, like you're basing it off a movie. I think you have to be careful with that. Or, a certain bowling movie, you know what I mean? I think you should be careful with that. That's probably kind of important because people do have theme nights or certain artists, we're going to do I'm scared to even name an artist because they might call me here and find out I was talking about that artist. But yeah, you know what I mean? I think you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, it should fall under fair use if you're using something like that. For example, it's we're celebrating Tarantino filmography, right? So you put some blood everywhere, right? So there's this kind of like you're celebrating that person. So you're creating something original from that. You're being inspired, like being inspired by the art and creating something original of that is fair use of others' art, right?
Yeah, paint.
You can see those videos from Indian guys, I think, on TikTok. They take trailers to the movies, and these are in the villages. Like they make the fake trailers to that movie. So it's their creative work. They do exactly the same, like shots, but people are like you see local people. They don't even wear the same clothes, but it looks the same as the same as the trailer as the original. So that's fair use of it. You're creating something original based on, like, inspired on the other's work.
Awesome. Well, Elena, this has been amazing. I hope that our listeners really get a clear picture of what they need to do. They really need to do their due diligence. Obviously, we would love to see everybody be original. And create your own content, but it's not always possible, especially when you come to music and videos and things like that. But for them to just have that awareness and be very aware that you do have an obligation, a legal obligation, when it comes to the usage of all of those types of media.
Exactly. Yeah, you can see Mr. Beast. He looks like he's doing illegal things, like going to the pyramids in Egypt, doing like crazy stuff. Then there are interviews of him saying that he has a team of people making impossible things possible. They contact all the legal entities and ask them, I want to do that. How do I do that legally?
Yes.
Then there starts the journey to the legality and to great content. He's like the greatest creator on YouTube, right?
Absolutely.
We can do things legally and well and still win.
Yes. So the lesson there is be proactive and not reactive, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, Elena, thank you very much for being a guest. It's always a pleasure, and you always have so much great information to share with our listeners. And listeners, thank you for being a part of today's episode of Seeds of Success. With decades of industry experience, we're honored to share ideas, strategies, and trends designed to help entertainment centers like yours thrive and grow. Together, we're planting seeds for a stronger, more successful future. Make sure you share this episode and subscribe to our channel because the more seeds we sow, the greater the harvest. Until next time, listeners, let's continue to build success, one happy guest and one incredible experience at a time.